We're back with Chad Allen Method, and this is the real Chad Allen.
The one and only.
Awesome. We're in your courtyard at your studio, and how does it work?
So when you first enter from the beautiful gated courtyard, so it's this very private sanctuary right off of Sawtelle. When you come in, first thing you're greeted by is a QR code, and I write a blog that the QR code will take you to, and it changes weekly or whenever I feel the inspiration and I feel like I want to share something that's community based, so that either people here in the West LA community and or people, clients visiting the studio can participate. There's always a question, there's a reach out for engagement and participation. And you can actually do that participation here in the patio area.
Oh, it's so nice, Chad. I just love it.
I really do believe in the power of relaxation as being key and instrumental in the process of transformation, that it's not meant to be work, it's meant to be ease and flow and relaxation. So right from the beginning, I want to set that up.
Well, it's a beautiful day for doing that.
Sure is.
Sunny Los Angeles. We're in West Los Angeles on Sawtelle at 1608 Sawtelle, and we are at the cross street of Santa Monica, so there's lots of fun things to do over here besides relax.
It's an amazing, amazing neighborhood. Little Tokyo town.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
so
really
many
awesome.
yummy places
Japantown.
to eat.
I always mix it up. It's little Japantown.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So
Oh
come
my
check it out.
gosh.
The food is incredible.
Well, this is even more incredible. Look at this space.
Thank you.
What is going on in here? Look at the skylights and this dance floor.
Yeah, the centerpiece.
What?
Yeah, this building, prior to my becoming the tenant here, the building was formerly used to support people who were in transition, either looking for housing, that were currently living on the streets looking for housing, and or were needing support with substance abuse. So this was a community center before. Well, the space that we're standing in right now used to be about 12, 13 offices and hallways when I first came in. It was normal sort of 9-foot ceilings.
Low ceilings, yeah.
No skylights. So we took all of the smaller spaces away and made it one giant space.
Wow.
Really try to create the feeling of the value and importance of space itself. So not just what's in the space, but the space.
Well, what goodies do you have in store for us today?
Come on in. So PowerPlate technology, whole body vibration, absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Amazing technology I've been working with for years. So these machines move the body cells 30 to 50 times per second. Incredibly.
So this plate vibrates as you're doing like a workout.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I use it certainly for training. I also use it a lot with rehabilitation.
Oh, wow.
And I really like to blend a lot of techniques. That's why it's called the Chad Allen Method, because I can really sort of pull from any of the resources that I have been exposed to and that might fit a profile, but maybe seem a little bit unconventional or a little out of the box. That's definitely my space to play.
And does it help improve balance and like core strength?
Balance, strength, power, core, absolutely. Yep.
Wow.
So one of the things that most people find difficult is how to train the muscles of the body that deal with speed without moving quickly. It's almost impossible to do without technology's support. So otherwise we have to be running or jumping or boxing or doing some kind of very fast activity. But on a power plate, we can get the same muscle fiber recruitment even if we were standing perfectly still. And that's really helpful, especially for things like balance and reflexes, because that's all speed fiber. So
Wow.
So most all of my clients beyond a certain age all train on power plates
Yeah.
because it really helps them achieve the recruitment of that muscle fiber.
Love it.
So we start with that. So we have two of these beautiful machines, Pro 7s. And then on the main floor, if we were to stay on the main floor,
Yeah.
so we have two, you'll see on the left side of the studio is the gyrotonic expansion system equipment. These are 3 pieces of equipment. They're really pieces of art. They're incredible.
Wow.
And each piece is its own environment. And the gyrotonic expansion system really is a wonderful, I trained in the system originally in 2005, long before it had sort of gained more popularity. But over time, the system itself continues to evolve, and each piece of equipment, as I was saying, is its own environment and its own experience. But you'll notice some very important features about the circular nature of it, the sort of sculptural aspect. The equipment itself is designed to facilitate movement in the body, not to resist movement. So it actually assists and supports the body in its maximal range of motion. And also with the idea of being frictionless, which I love, this feeling of being friction-free in the body. So
Well, what is this giant donut over
Giant
here?
donut.
What's
Yes,
happening?
that is WAFF, WAFF, and WAFF was created by a French rugby player. And there are different sizes. Here on
Okay.
the floor, you can see the max. This is actually for relaxation, kind of going to what we talked about on the patio. The experience of deep relaxation. So this is meant to give the body as close as the effect of suspension that a float tank would, without using water as a medium. We're actually using air as a medium.
Wow.
So lying on this, nothing touches the ground. Your feet are completely suspended. And a quick demonstration.
Yes, please.
So when we recline that on the wall, essentially we want to be as completely motion-free as possible.
Okay.
Eyes closed, oftentimes they give clients an eye mask, earplugs, we go to full, as much sensory deprivation as possible. But what begins to happen is because the body's fully supported, the WAF is meeting my body's curves correctly. So I'm getting the sort of proper ergonomic support. But as I begin to more deeply and deeply relax, the energy in my body is donated then to the WAF. So oftentimes when I'm sitting here and I go into these very deep states of relaxation, I'll feel the WAF begin to vibrate. And that's the energy, the kinetic energy that my body was holding. As it's releasing it, I can actually experience it through the feedback of the WAF itself.
What? Wow. Well, you actually do on camera look like you're floating.
Yeah.
And there's a little baby one, baby
That's
WAF.
that's the medium size, and the medium size
Oh, there's
is
a
in
smaller.
training. Yeah, and they get smaller from there.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
depending on the room. Yeah.
Cool.
And the medium one, we do it if we can stand on it, if we can plank on it, if we can lie on it, we can train it on a WAF.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What else is going on over here?
So then this is part of the Pilates system. So we're looking at these are reformers, and actually these two pieces are reformer Cadillac combination units.
Okay.
So we have a half tower on one end. The reformer moves. If you
So
see
it
the
slides
left.
back and forth so for like rowing and other.
Yes.
stretching.
So it's set up for, if you come, you can see a little bit here. So you'll see underneath we use variable resistance that are done by springs.
I see.
Yep. So it has sprung resistance below. So that we could be using arms or legs. Here in this setup, we have springs at that end. So this one's set up for stability here below, and then we have mobility here on the end.
Wow.
And then the two pieces between the two, or to the sides there, those are combo chairs. So this allows us to do things seating, standing upright, standing to the side. So this is much more the upright position. A lot of stuff that we do down here is going to be in the horizontal plane. And that's called a ladder barrel. It's really beautiful for extension of the body and side planes, arching the spine, flexing the spine.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's a Pilates technique.
I love
I started
it.
Pilates in 1996, I believe. 1995 or 1996. That's how long ago I started Pilates.
Oh my
That's back when dancers were really kind of the early adopters of these movement systems.
Yes, and
Jared-
you were a dancer.
I was.
You still are a dancer.
Yes. Yeah, it's not my vocation any longer, but it is definitely the work that I do. Yep. Hi.
Hello. We have a lovely customer.
Yes, hold on. Let's take a little quick pause for a second. Ready?
Where are we going next?
Okay, come with me. So these are some of my favorite pieces of equipment. This is the same gyrotonic expansion system, but this is called the pulley tower. This is kind of like the foundational piece of equipment that if you're doing gyrotonic, you're going to be learning movement on this piece of equipment. Which
Chad,
I
this looks
absolutely
like
love.
a torture device.
It looks like it. It does not feel like it. It's so yummy, yummy, yummy.
What
It's
does it
again
do?
very circular. So upper body, lower body, core body. But again, everything's designed for movement.
These look very comfortable.
Isn't that pretty fun?
So this will stretch your body out.
Yeah. So for an example, like very common in the movement is the arch and curl
Okay.
principle of the spinal motion. So everything is designed to move the body in very circular and expand the length of the body. But the spine is really, it's all about your spine. So it's a couple of examples of movement that
Wow.
people learn how to do. Yeah.
I bet dancers like that machine.
Dancers take to it, like
Yeah.
bees to honey. They absolutely love it. But what's amazing is that most of my clients, again, of a certain age, have come to a place, and the thing that they recognize themselves that they have begun to do is eliminate movement in their life. So they see this and they're like, all they want to do is gyro now.
Yeah.
Because they really begin, it's kind of like oiling your joints, like being the Tin Man and getting everything lubricated. So your back moves again, your hips move again, your shoulders move again, your neck moves again. So it's an amazing system. You'll see the little stools around. This is for the gyrokinesis, which is you can think of the stool like a piece of equipment, but it's not a formal piece of equipment like the pulley tower, the gyrotoner, or the other pieces we saw.
It
This
looks.
is biodensity. I'm going to clear the screen so we don't have to see this guy.
Is this another waft pillow, like a tiny one?
That's the WAF Mini. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
cute.
And this one's very deflated at the moment. I use it as a proprioceptive tool on other pieces of equipment so people can feel their way toward their center.
Oh, wow.
That was a little deflated on purpose.
Yes.
This is also part of the Pilates system. It's a springboard, so we do some standing work with this, so arms, legs, core, etc. This big monster here is biodensity.
Whoa.
This is a very specific piece of equipment for creating the kind of forces that we need to stimulate bone growth, brand new bone cells, not only maintenance. In the beginning, it's oftentimes maintenance of bone cells, but then we get into places where we actually start building more bone. And because the body's intelligent, it doesn't give you bone cells without muscle cells, so you also begin to generate new muscle cells. So we call it biodensity. It makes the body denser to resist forces. It's a very, very unique system in that it does not itself apply any force to the body. All the forces are created by the body and then must be tolerated by the body. So it's really super cool.
Wow.
This is the InBody 570. It's not turned on at the moment, but the InBody 570 is a very sophisticated body composition tool. So we're able to assess a person's what's inside of a number. So for example, we have a weight number, but how much of that is water? We want to make sure we have the proper amount of water in the body, intracellular, extracellular fluid. And we also look at body fat, and then where is that body fat? Is it in the trunk? Is it in the right arm? Is it the left arm? Is it the legs? And then also, is it subcutaneous fat or is it visceral fat? So we can really take a look at what's going on. We also look at lean body mass, so we can see the amount of tissue in that weight that is muscle. And then also, if we can also see if there's differences in muscle between the right side and the left side of the body, right arm, left arm, etc.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
very specific.
It's really cool.
You
It's
know
a
where
really
all
amazing
your
thing.
fat is. That little beauty.
And your muscle. I think the thing that most people in my client base really love about it is they can see whether they are in fact. People love to say things like, "Oh, I'm stronger on my right side," or "stronger on my left side," or "I have more muscle mass on my right side." But we can actually measure it and see if that's true or not. So some people will have lower back issues, as an example, and they think that it's sometimes we think it's a mechanical issue of the back, the spine itself. Sometimes when we do an in-body session, we see that one leg has more muscle density than the other leg. So what we're actually looking at is a functional imbalance. So the two things that hold up the spine are not even enough. So we actually know that the issue is the back is expressing that it doesn't have adequate proper support.
And can you repair that
Oh,
if they
sure.
are stronger or offset on one side?
Absolutely, yeah. We just take that information and apply it to the program. Yeah.
What else do you offer as far as wellness products and things that have changed my life personally? Can we sit down and talk about that?
Yes, I'd love
Awesome.
to.
Let's go. So Chad, before we sit down and talk about how you changed my life, talk to me about the products that you carry here at the studio.
Well, okay, I try to provide access to products that are not already widely available. So I feel like in this day and age, there's plenty on the in the marketplace in terms of supplementation, herbs, etc. So I may direct someone toward another source for those, but I really try to keep practitioner-based products in my actual.
So these are things you can only get through you
Correct, yeah.
and
through
not
the
at
practitioner.
the Whole Foods or any other.
Right. Yeah, and largely
Natural
because
store.
It is an extension of a consciousness that's not common in the marketplace. So for example, this whole line of products is made by a company called Energy Tools Internationals, or Vital Force Products. And the nuclear physicist that created this line was able to capture, if it's alive, if it's ever been alive, he captures the blueprint. You can think of it like a blueprint, like the blueprint of a building, and we call it vital force. So he takes the vital force imprint of that living thing, and then he places it into plasma, and then he amplifies it to a stronger signal, and then it goes into a structure, in this case trace minerals, that holds that information. So then formulas are not chemically based, they're vibrationally based specifically on living things. So all of these formulas have frequencies that have been embedded in them to support whatever it is, like for example, balance for the endocrine system, foundation for the sort of energy maintenance of the body. This is Water Alive as an example. This was taken from I don't remember the exact number, but from very powerful, pure, pristine water sources around the world. And all of their imprints were placed into each bottle of this.
Wow. So
Water
how
Alive.
many drops do you take and how do you apply them?
So they're trace mineral formulas, so they're a little bit alkaline on their own. So we recommend putting them in water.
Okay,
You
drinking
can put them
it?
in anything. But given we know that because it's a mineral, if it goes into something that's acidic, it's going to base it a little bit, which sometimes is nice. If you like coffee but don't like the acidity, you can use your trace minerals to kind of help with that. But you're going to put it into a solution. We work up to 10 drops 3 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah. But some people start with 1 drop 3 times a day and then they work their way up. And some people can start at 10 right away with no adverse effects. So that's an example of a product line that I carry.
Awesome. What happens in your private office here? What's
Yes.
going on?
Yeah, welcome. Well, you'll see the first thing. This has been with me from my first teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh. Be free where you are. So this really kind of gives you, it invites the spirit of what happens in this space. So this is where I do one-on-one sessions. You can see there's a lot of really cool pieces of equipment in here. This is a biofeedback equipment. It's kind of tucked away at the moment, but biofeedback, more commonly known these days, so you can think things like EEG and ECG, these are all forms of biofeedback. I work with a piece of equipment that is attached to the body through the wrists and the ankles and the forehead. And we ask the body through information exchange, how do you feel? So I don't have to rely on the client's conscious mind understanding. I can ask the body, how does it feel about things? We call it a stress response. We'll either see a stress response or a neutral response, or sometimes we see a very, very low response, which oftentimes indicates things that have been going on so long, the body just doesn't respond.
And does it help with like focus, people that suffer with ADHD, people that have trauma, they may have experienced, abuse in their life? Does it help sort of work through that emotional stuff as well?
Definitely. So stress in the body, no matter its source, any of the ones that you just named and more, when the body is in a state of stress, it is not going to be in its optimal state. Stress is not unhealthy in and of itself by itself, but when we stay in chronic states of stress, we are using resources the body would otherwise be using for things like regeneration, digestion, immunity, all those wonderful things. And instead that energy is being consumed in the maintenance of the stress response. So the entire purpose of biofeedback as I use it is to understand the nature of the stress and retrain it. So we get that we soften the stress response or reverse or completely correct the stress response. So then all that energy is liberated again, once again, for all of the other important functions the body has.
Well, just being here in your studio and listening to the music and seeing your smiling face makes me relax and makes me feel so good. So thanks for inviting us here. And I'd also like to sit down and talk to you about some of the
Some of this fun stuff.
other goodies and how they're applied.
Yeah, so we'll talk about these for sure. These are some amazing support products here. This machine, we analyze light in the body. It's called BioWell. You can see, I'll show you the cover here.
Yeah.
This is actually an example of what we measure, which is the amount of light that is emitted from the body. So we say we're light beings, and actually we can prove it because we actually emit light.
Wow.
We test it. And then I actually have the ability to test spaces too. So I can actually test my office or
So you
any
know if
other
is my
environment.
bedroom relaxing enough? Why am I not sleeping at night?
Exactly, what's going on in here. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, let's go take a look.